Most people over 50 believe they already understand relationships. They think they know what love should look like, what companionship means, and what they ought to want at this stage of life. But what if one of the most widely accepted assumptions that you should always seek partnership begins to collapse after 50? What if millions of men across the United States are quietly discovering that the very thing they thought would bring them peace actually introduces new forms of stress, dependency, and emotional complexity they never asked for? And what if the real mystery isn't why some men stay single, but why so few people talk about the reasons behind that choice? Before we go deeper, this isn't about bitterness. It's not anti-love. It's not anti-women. It's about clarity. It's about the hidden shifts that happen physically, emotionally, and financially after 50 shifts that researchers, sociologists, and even philosophers are beginning to pay attention to. And the strangest part, the clues have been visible for decades, but nearly everyone misses them until life forces them to notice. To understand why some men over 50 and 60 choose not to pursue a girlfriend, we have to trace the timeline not from today, but from the beginning. In early adulthood, relationships are driven by instinct, biology, and the desire to build. Men in their 20s and 30s are primed for growth. Careers are forming, families are forming. The brain is shaped by dopamine, risk-taking, and exploration. Most people don't realize it, but this phase sets the template for how they judge relationships for the next several decades. Sociologists from major American universities have noted that men in their early adult years often attach their identity to partnership. Success often feels incomplete without romance. Even in their 30s, the idea of being single long-term is almost unthinkable. But something begins to shift in the 40s. It's quiet, subtle, almost invisible, yet the consequences become dramatic later. This is the decade when emotional patterns harden, stress rises, career pressure increases. Many men begin caregiving for aging parents. Divorce rates peak. According to CDC and U.S. Census data, adults in their 40s experience some of the highest emotional strain of any age group. But the most important change in emotional is biological. Hormonal profiles shift, energy reserves decline. Recovery takes longer, not just physically, but mentally. This is when early cracks appear. Many men start questioning what relationships cost them not in money, but in freedom, time, and emotional resilience. But because these signs are quiet, most ignore them. Then 50 arrives, the shift almost everyone misses. Men begin to reassess their priorities. According to several longitudinal U.S. aging studies, people over 50 become more selective about social connections, more protective of their routines, and more aware of their emotional bandwidth. Stoic principles, whether men realize it or not, begin to feel natural. Less attachment, more peace, less chaos, more control. But this is also when the body starts revealing truths no one prepares you for. Sleep becomes more sensitive, stress hits harder, recovery is slower. Studies from American gerontology researchers show that men over 50 experience sharper responses to emotional turbulence than younger groups. A dramatic relationship conflict at 25 may feel like a movie scene. At 55, it can feel like a threat to well-being. Yet most men don't connect these dots. They assume the discomfort about the specific relationship, not the life stage they've entered. Then comes 60, the breaking point where the pattern becomes unmistakable. Men who once ignored early signals suddenly see the cost of emotional instability. According to American health surveys, people over 60 who experience chronic stress, especially emotional stress, report higher rates of sleep disruption, blood pressure spikes, and lower overall life satisfaction. But here's where the mystery deepens. Many of these men are not against relationships. They simply realize that pursuing a girlfriend at this stage demands something scarce emotional energy. And this leads directly into the fallout. The consequences show up not only in health, but in finances, time, and lifestyle. A man who has worked his whole life for stability may find new relationship dynamics draining, changing routines, negotiating differences, adapting to someone's preferences, absorbing emotional weight. Retirement researchers have documented that men over 60 who maintain high conflict or demanding relationships often deplete retirement savings faster, delay personal goals, and reduce healthy habits. This doesn't mean relationships are bad. It means they require bandwidth. Bandwidth that some men simply no longer want to trade. Yet most men don't discover this until they've tried the same failed fixes, repeated across generations. They follow old advice: just find someone. Don't be alone. Men need companionship. They jump into relationships without understanding the realities of their stage of life. They assume romance will feel the same as it did at 35. They try to meet expectations built for younger versions of themselves. But the cost-benefit equation has changed, and the equation rarely balances the way it used to. Across millions of American men in their 50s and 60s, the same patterns repeat: early signs, ignored signals, late realizations, and all of this leads to a simple but profound Stoic insight. Sometimes the greatest peace comes not from adding more relationships, but from removing unnecessary emotional weight. So, what are the 5 Stoic reasons some men choose not to seek a girlfriend after 50 or 60? Reason 1. Emotional economy. At this age, peace is more valuable than passion. Freedom is more valuable than drama. For many, the emotional cost of a relationship outweighs the benefits. Reason 2. Purpose becomes internal. Stoics believed meaning comes from within, not from romantic dependency. After 60, many men rediscover hobbies, learning, travel, and personal growth without needing validation from a partner. Reason 3. Health stability. Emotional turbulence has biological consequences. Men over 60 who avoid unnecessary conflict often experience better sleep, lower stress hormones, and improved daily energy. Reason 4. Financial clarity. Retirement planning is fragile. New relationships sometimes bring new obligations, expectations, or lifestyle shifts that men prefer to avoid. Reason 5. Time becomes sacred. After 60, time is more valuable than anything else. Men who choose independence do it because they want to control their remaining years, not negotiate them. Now that we've traced the full timeline, here are 3 direct actions men over 50 can take right now. First, evaluate your emotional bandwidth. Ask yourself whether you want companionship or whether you want peace. They are not always the same. Second, practice the Stoic habit of journaling. Write down what drains you and what strengthens you. This makes desires clearer and decisions easier. Third, rebuild your personal foundation. Focus on health, purpose, routines, friendships, and financial stability. A strong foundation reduces stress and improves quality of life, relationship or not. And here is the evidence-based warning. Entering a relationship for the wrong reasons, fear of loneliness, outside pressure, or old habits can create more emotional burden than benefit. After 50, lines leave you with one open thought. The next stage of your life may not require a relationship, but it will require meaning, and only you can decide where that meaning comes from. If you want the next chapter, the Stoic rule that men over 50 say transformed their entire outlook, make sure you subscribe. The next video reveals the principle that changes everything.